We are back again with Fat Boy's Toyota pickup. For those of you that don't know, this is a 86 Toyota pickup two-wheel drive 22 RE fuel injected engine. And today we're gonna be doing the rear main seal and the clutch. We're gonna try to drop the transmission today and see how far we get, but that's the goal. Do the rear main seal and the clutch, and we're most likely gonna do the oil pan gasket. The engine has been rebuilt. It's not leaking oil from the oil pan gasket, it's leaking oil from the rear main seal, but if we have to do the oil pan gasket, we'll go ahead and do it. We got it up on jack stands, and we're gonna get underneath right now and see what needs to be removed. So for sure the drive shaft is gonna come off, so that's gonna be these two. If I'm not wrong, these are 14mm bolts. They come in from the top, and then back here we have these 4 bolts as well. So I'm gonna get 2 of those real quick and pull the drive shaft out, and then we'll see what else has to come off. But you can see that there's a little bit of oil coming out from there. We replaced the clutch slave cylinder, and we still got some oil coming from back here. We were thinking it was that at the beginning, but it's not. So we're gonna have to drop this transmission and replace the rear main seal. I don't know why it fell, but it did fail. It doesn't look like he's coming from back there. Nope, it is coming from down here. And also the what's it called, the bearing, throwout bearing, that thing is making a lot of noise. Not a lot, but you do hear it under load, like going up a hill and stuff. You'll hear it vibrating in there, which I don't know why the clutch wasn't replaced when the engine was out, but you know, some people work like that, I guess. So let me get to these real quick, and then I'll put you guys back on. I don't think you guys want to see me moving the wrench back and forth a whole lot. Okay, so before we pull out the drive shaft, I forgot to drain the transmission. It's a 1516 socket for the wheels that we were able to break it loose with. I don't know if that's the right size, but that's the one that we used. Just gonna let this drain. Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's a little milky. Yeah, 1516 is actually the right size, I think. Where's the cover thing for the thing right here?
Oh, I'll put it right there on where the jack is at.
Oh. We're gonna let that drain, and then we're just gonna pull out the. Oh shit, I need a trapo. And then right here, we got these bolts out. They are 14s. The ones in the back are 14s, and they have, oh shit, my bad. The ones in the back are also 14s, and they have a nut on the back side, so you have to hit it with the 14 from the front and grab it with the 14 from the back to get the nuts out. And then this is able to just get pulled out. I'll try to pull it out right now. Like that. Oh shit. I like. Oh. All right there. Careful with the spill, but there was a little bit of oil on the heat on this. Make sure you don't damage this, because or else you won't get the seal to seal up again if that gets damaged. All right, so you can see on this the plug for the transmission, it has a lot of metal shavings, which is not good. We're gonna drive a truck like that, so we're just gonna clean this up and put it back together. If it was an automatic transmission, it would be way worse, but these manual transmissions hold up pretty good. And then what would be the next thing? I think the next thing would be the 212, so we could remove the slave, just move it over to the side a little bit. I'm gonna go up there in front. I think for the back we're pretty much done for now, so I'm just gonna start removing things from around the transmission. So from down here, it looks like we have to remove this, which I think it's a 12, to get the cable for the cluster off. think it's a 12 mil.
Yeah.
So there's a little gear right here. There's an O-ring right here. I guess you could replace it to this. But this one wasn't leaked, so it should be good. Okay, so right here on the driver's side, we're gonna remove this. I think this is for the reverse lights to go on. I might be wrong. It's the first time doing this, so I don't know. But it has this little clip right here that you could just bend out of the way, and then I think you just press this down and pull. I'm gonna figure this out right now. I don't know exactly how to do that. This connector has to come off. Okay, so to pull this plug out, this side has a little tab. You just pull it away from this. You can see where it hooks onto this, and then you just pull it out. And then let that dangle right there for a little bit. And we're also gonna drain the motor oil, which that's another reason why we're gonna do this thing right now, the rear main seal, because this truck needs an oil change. You can see that the motor oil is pretty dirty, pretty dark. So we're gonna drain the motor oil right now. Whatever size that is, I think it's a 15. I don't know. Fatboy, give me like the 15. We're gonna let that drain while we keep working on this. Okay, so now while the motor oil drains, we're going to remove this with the 12, the clutch. I don't know if you guys, it's kind of like a weird angle right here. Fatboy, can you record? I know that the first couple of clips, sorry about the shadows, just that we're using our headlamp because it's dark outside now and it's super cold. But all our recent clips were pretty much laying down like this or whatever, so try to explain it a little better, and whenever I can, I'm gonna get Fatboy to record. So looking at the transmission from the passenger side, up here there's a 17 millimeter bolt. You guys can see it right here, right there, like right above where the slave was at. So there's a 17 right there, which we're gonna get right now. And on this side, on the driver's side, right here with where the exhaust is at, there's another 17. Oh no, that's actually like an 18. And there's a missing bolt up here. So we're gonna get to this 18 millimeter and the 17 millimeter, and then we're gonna put you guys back on. Okay, so we're right under the oil pan, and we're gonna get to the starter. But I think before we get to the starter, we're gonna knock out these bolts right here. They are 14 millimeter bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll get to the starter, and I think the starter is also 14. This bolt right here is holding the bracket to the slave, and we're just gonna pull it off to the side. We disconnected the ground on the battery, so there shouldn't be anything but the power right here. All right, so for the starter, we got this bolt out to 14, and then we removed the signal cable, and then we removed the 12 millimeter to the power. Now we're gonna get to the 14 on the back side, on the other side of the starter, to be able to pull the starter off completely. We just can't record it because it's on the other side of the starter and there's a lot of stuff in the way. Okay, so the starter's out of the way. Now we got to get to the 2 top bolts, and then the bell housing should be free from the engine. So we're going to try to, since the engine was already pulled out from this, we're gonna see if these are hopefully not too tight. We're gonna need more extensions. But yeah, basically we're gonna get as many extensions as possible and break it loose. I don't know if you can see it right there, and hopefully be able to pull those 2 last bolts out. Okay, so we hit it with the impact and that didn't work, so Fatboy's gonna try to get it with the flexible ratchet. From the top, we have the short socket nut on it. He's gonna try to reach from up there. Yeah, this thing's covered in so much grime and stuff. I don't know if we're gonna clean it up. Might as well, since it's out, but who knows? It's gonna end up getting dirty either way. And then we got all these 12s right here to remove. I think we're gonna remove these 4 and then these 2 right here on the sides, just to get this bracket out. But we'll get to that in a bit. Right now we're struggling with the 2 top bolts. I thought it would have been easy to just remove them since the whole engine was out at some point, but I guess not. So what he did was he got it from up here, right? He put the ratchet down through here. He was able to get on the bolt and then break it loose from up here. Now we have to get the last one. Oh, I see it. It's right here. The last one's right here, but it's kind of tight. So I'm gonna try to put the ratchet in from here, and then he's gonna try to break it loose through this little gap right here. So let's see if that's gonna work. I'll put you guys back on in a bit. So this side is actually loose. We're able to get to it like this, but you can see what we're doing. I'm holding the socket and the ratchet in place, and he's just turning it. So I think I'm gonna try to hit it with the little impact and the extension from the bottom, so it could be a lot quicker. So we were able to get that one out. Now we're gonna do these right here. Give me a 12, fat boy. Let's see, 14 actually.
You have it?
Socket. I think we're gonna do these 2 14s and a 12. So yeah, I think we're gonna do these 12s. So we could break it loose from here. No, oh yeah, 12. My bad.
This one. And the thing is that with these trucks,
you can't drop the cross member to tilt the engine back a little bit so you could get in from here. With the extension, like any other truck, you could just drop the cross member and get to those 2 bolts from the top. But on this one, this thing is like welded to the chassis, so you can't do that. So these are 412s. 412s for the bracket right there, and then these right here are 14s. So I'm gonna try to get these real quick. Let me put you guys back on. Well, actually, let me do it on camera so then we can see what happens once I remove this. I think the whole thing's gonna drop. Oh no, I did it. Oh, there's 2 more up here. So there's one here and one on this side. But the transmission should be able to break through. I don't know. Figure this out right now. Let me see if I could hit these. Maybe make it a little easier. Nah, this thing is in the way. I guess I'm gonna get the ones on top out. No, actually, you know what? We're gonna go in the interior, because once this is removed, then that's gonna drop with the transmission. So we're gonna get in the interior real quick and mess with the center console. Alright, so over here in the interior, we have to remove these 4 Phillips head screws. The center console is already, no, just right here. The center console is already broken and doesn't have the boot, so it's easier access. So with all those 4 screws removed, this pulls up. Hold it, fat boy. And then this should go over this. Like that. And then we could get to these 4 10mm bolts. We're also gonna do the bushing kit on this because it needs it. Get some of the slack off. So this just slides straight out, and then this is gonna get replaced. And there's this bushing right here. This one actually looks kind of new. That's gonna get replaced as well. See all this gunk in here? Low-key metal shavings.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just gonna drive it like that. That's all that has to be removed from the inside. Now you could drop the transmission. Some people actually go in here with the extensions to get the 2 top bolts and break them loose from up here. You have a lot more space and leverage. We just, I don't know why we didn't do that, but people do that. But this thing I think has been replaced. It's not all stiff and stuff. We're gonna clean this up a little bit before we put the new one in. All right, so we got these 2 14s. So this one and this one. And then we got the jack under the transmission just to pry it up a little bit because it was putting tension on this bracket. So now we should be able to remove the bracket, I think. Go up higher on the jack, probably. More? Oh yeah, more. Hey, I think so. Okay, wait, right there. Let me see. Oh. Well, I don't know. That's not coming off. I don't know why. Should be able to come off. Go up more. More. Okay, I think that's it. No, it's not gonna come off. I think because of the stupid design of this transmission mount. So one thing we forgot to do is this bracket that was holding onto the transmission cross member, we had to unbolt this 12mm. At least a little bit to get it off the bracket, because this bracket has to slide back. So we're gonna break it loose and then we're gonna pry it once we start removing the transmission. And now for this bracket up here, we're going to I guess we're gonna try to bolt it from here. I don't know what we're gonna do. We have to do something about it because this thing has to come off. Let me figure this out real quick and then I'll put you guys back on. Okay, so for the bracket, we actually removed all 4 14mm, which there's 2 here and then 2 on the opposite side, and that actually dropped this transmission mount. So you can see that there's 4 right there holding onto the transmission. It's a pretty stupid design if you ask me, because there's no other way to remove it without removing that whole bracket. Or actually, no, yeah, there's no other way, because then you wouldn't have room to drop the transmission. So now with that 12mm up there with the hanger for the exhaust, we're gonna move that out the way. Okay, so on this bracket, we have to open it up and just so it could come off, or actually, I don't know, so it can move a little bit like that. We just gotta get it off this bracket like that, and then this bracket comes off, and you can see that the transmission is ready to come out. Now we're gonna remove these 4. Give me a 17, Fat Boy. Let's see if it's a 17 socket. There's 4 bolts that have this cross member bolted up to the front, because like I said earlier, you can't drop the cross member back there, so this one has to come off. We go back a little bit with the transmission, then we slide it out. Yep, it's a 17. I'm gonna hit it with the impact real quick, get all 4 out, and then put you guys back on. Oh, and we'll drop the transmission off camera. So this is the clutch. It doesn't look like it's in bad condition. It doesn't look old, and the flywheel doesn't look old either. Either way, it has to come out. We could return the clutch that we already purchased for this. This is a Korean brand. I don't know if these are any good. Valeo. And then on the transmission, we had to twist it because the shifter housing, or whatever you want to call it, was hitting the top of the the body of the truck. So we had to rotate it, and then we were able to go back a little more, and then we were able to drop it, so it's out of the way. I'm gonna get to these. I think these are 14s. I'm gonna remove them all, and then we'll show you guys what the clutch and the flywheel look like. So one of these bolts is missing, and this doesn't. It was recently. Oh shit! it was replaced recently. This thing looks brand new, or not brand new, but new. Okay. And then there's, I think there's just one bolt. Oh, one bolt is missing right here. So damn. So this is our problem right here. See, seems like this was replaced at some point and it's leaking right here. You can see where the leak is coming from. I'm not sure if we're going to remove this and reseal it, or if we're just gonna remove the oil seal. Talk to Fatboy right now about that, because if we remove this, we're gonna remove the oil pan and redo both things. But you can see that the engine was rebuilt. And we're also going to get to the the fuel filter. It's a lot easier, I guess, from right here, because if not, we would have to work our way through the wheel well. We might still have to do that for a couple of bolts, but for the most part, you get this one from here, and it'll be a lot easier that way. So let me show you guys the clutch. See, the clutch is in good condition. Still has some life left in it. Korean gearbox side. That, and this is also from the same people, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's from the whole kit. This looks like it's okay. The throttle bearing is making a little bit of noise, but there's these little clips that hold the throttle bearing. You can kind of hear the bearing. Pretty sure this was the noise that we were hearing, because once you stepped on the clutch, you wouldn't hear it anymore. Huh? Yes, kind of get some of that. So we're gonna clean up for now. It's already late, and tomorrow we'll continue with this truck. So we actually decided to remove the oil pan gasket and just clean everything up, just to replace it. Oh well, we're not gonna replace anything. We're just gonna remove this gasket maker and put a cork seal on here, just to play it safe. And then we're gonna remove the whole thing for the rear main seal. And these are 12mm bolts, so there's 5. We're just gonna go ahead and back them off. And these are different bolts. Well, these 2 are different, and then these 3 are different. There's 2 types of bolts on here. I don't know why. I don't know if that's how it should be or not, but we're gonna see if we were able to match at least 5 of the same bolts once we put it back. Oh, and then you have to remove these 2. If you were just to remove this, you have to remove these 2 right here. You know what? I'm actually gonna remove this little cross member right here. I believe these are 14s. Yeah, they're 14. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove all 4, just to drop this and see if we can remove the oil pan. We might even have to remove the steering linkage, because I don't think there's enough room for the front of the oil pan to drop and be removed. Okay, so up here in the front, we're gonna remove this skid plate. So it has 2 bolts on that side and 2 bolts on this side, and then this comes off. We're also going to remove this stabilizer, and then we're going to remove this steering linkage from one side, I think, and we're going to drop it from this side. Hopefully we don't have to drop that side. All this is going to get replaced, so we're really not worried about the boot. So we're just going to use the fork and get in between here and hammer it, just so it could drop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, because Fatboy is in here to record. And then I'll put you guys back on. So we pulled this off. We're just using this gasket scraper to get into the oil pan gasket and break the seal, because I don't know what kind of RTV they used. sealer to use, but the thing is on there. And while pulling this off, oh well, actually good thing that we are removing the oil pan gasket, because the sealer right here was like really on there. To the cover was holding on real good, so we were gonna have to somehow fix this. But while removing the cover, we noticed that one of the bolts had broken off in there. That's why they didn't put it back in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to weld a nut onto that and back it off. Hopefully the threads are good, because we did order the bolt from Toyota, and it would suck if the threads are messed up, because then we won't be able to use the bolt that we just ordered. So for now, I'm gonna keep trying to remove this oil pan. I dropped the linkage on the passenger side, and hopefully that's enough room to drop this oil pan. We finally were able to break loose the whole oil pan gasket from this gasket maker. Whatever they use, this thing is super strong. So now we're just gonna scrape this whole thing off. I'm gonna have Fatboy clean this while I clean this. And there was a little bit of gunk right here, like very little, but it was just the gasket maker, I guess. A little bit of it wasn't a lot, but that's what it's looking like right now. And like I said before, this whole truck is gonna get a suspension makeover. And while we were down here, look at that, the idler arm, it's all messed up. Shocks are shot. Everything is pretty much shot on this truck for the suspension. But we're gonna get to that, so that doesn't really matter right now. I'm trying to get this done. So I'm gonna start scraping with the blade all around. He's already cleaning the little cover for the rear main seal. So this is the seal we got. Fell from Felpro BS 4034 5-1, and it comes with 2 of these gasket pieces. I know for sure one of them fits, the other one I don't know, it might be for like a different car or something, but this is the seal we're gonna be installing. So we're gonna put a little bit of that ultra black gasket maker from Permatex just to fill in the little holes around here, and we're gonna slide this in. And then for the back, then we're gonna run a bead all across, all around, and then put the seal, and then put it on the engine, because this also has a little damage right there, and I think like right there. Not that bad, but just to be safe, we're gonna put a little bit of that sealer. And I'll put you guys back on once we're torquing it. I won't show you this part, is gonna take some time to put this and drive this in. So we're just wiping down the surface right here with some brake cleaner, and we have the housing ready with the seal and the gasket on the back side. And we're gonna put a little bit of this assembly lube on the inside piece right here, just so it could slide over easier. We're just using this assembly lube because we have this from another engine that we did the other day, so we're gonna use it on this one. But I think you're good with the motor oil if you wanna try to do this. Have to mute it. Have to mute the music. And we're also going to put a little bit on this. Okay, so we torqued all bolts down to 13 foot-pounds. That's what we found online. The gasket is sticking down a little bit